Hey everybody, my name is Tom Harvey. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't know who I am, I'm a real estate broker here in Southwest Washington, specifically Clark County, which is in Vancouver. That's the biggest city here, and it's just north of Portland, Oregon, on the other side of the Columbia River. So today I want to talk about downsizing. And if you're thinking of downsizing, you're not alone. It's a big step, but it's also an exciting new chapter. Downsizing, it's not an event, it's a process. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of preparation. The timing has to be right. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I can give you some tips. So why is downsizing beneficial? Well, there are financial benefits. Property taxes are lower, mortgage payment might be lower. If you are downsizing from a bigger house, you can probably buy that house with cash or at least put a large amount down. Utility bills there's less maintenance as well, and repair costs are lower. So another benefit is health. There's less stairs, there's less you have to manage, there's less clutter. And also it depends on where you're downsizing, but if you're closer to family, your mental health is going to be better. You get to spend your years more with family, being closer, having more memories that you get to build, right? So when you downsize to a smaller place, your lifestyle doesn't have to be compromised. You can still keep a lifestyle and manage a lifestyle. It's just going to be a lot simpler, and with that financial benefit, it might free up money to be able to travel and do things that you haven't been able to do. So here are some downsizing tips I'm going to go over quickly. The first tip is to declutter. So this is one of the hardest tips, because decluttering, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of emotional energy. You might have some personal belongings that mean a lot to you. And what I recommend is that you start really early and you give the more meaningful belongings that you have to a family member or a loved one that they get to enjoy now. And if there isn't sentimental value, you could donate that as well. So with the previous client that I worked with, he had a bunch of furniture, but we didn't have time to sell everything and wasn't really worth it. So we found churches, women's shelters, there are some rehabilitation centers that could take it, and that brought him a lot of peace of mind and joy that those people could benefit from it more than he could. Another thing to do is, since you live in a larger house, you probably have more furniture. So making sure that for one, where you want to live and what kind of home you want to live in. And because not all the furniture might not fit in that home. So trying to figure out the size and take measurements of homes and that you look at and try to figure out what you can really bring with you. That's super important, because the last thing you want to do is move your stuff over to this house and you're just cramming things in there and it doesn't breathe and it's hard to walk through, the living room or the kitchen. You want it to flow, and once again, you want to bring that peace of mind. Another thing to do is involve family and involve professionals. They can support you. They can help make this process easier. You got to talk things through, and doing it alone makes it a lot harder, and it takes more time and it takes more mental energy. So it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to, reach out to someone like myself, where we can sit down and kind of go over an estate plan, whether that's a short-term plan, a long-term plan, or an immediate plan. So I might have mentioned this earlier, but people don't anticipate the emotional impact that it will have. And when someone needs to move, they might have a medical, emergency or a surgery, and their primary bedroom's on the top floor, so they have to go upstairs. And they know that they have to move, and they've been talking about downsizing, but it sometimes takes people 5 years to actually move. It does. And that will drastically continue to impact your health. And it doesn't get any easier. It gets harder and harder every year. So, asking for support is huge. And just, even if you start with a little thing, donating it, giving a piece of furniture away to a family member, and just the decluttering part, you will get energy and momentum. You will breathe better once you just start with one little thing at a time. So I promise you, just take it really slow, but don't procrastinate. So the next thing I want to talk about is features that you want to look for in a home that you're downsizing to. One home is a single level home, a ranch style house, one that has no stairs, that has wide hallways, has an open concept, so where the living room and the kitchen are all open. That is very helpful. And sometimes if there's a wheelchair, carpet can make it harder to roll with the wheelchair. So hardwood floors are kind of important, but they're not necessary. And for me, I love hardwood floors, and I also love rugs, so I'll throw a rug down too. Another thing you want to look for in a house that you're downsizing to is a low maintenance yard. A low maintenance yard can take up a lot of time, and it can kind of add strain to your body as well. So some people do AstroTurf, other people have a landscaper who just have a small yard they manage. I know some people like that route where they can still have their roses, they can still go out and garden and grow microgreens and grow some tomatoes, but they're not managing this huge yard and having to get the mower out and the weeder out and everything like that. So that's also another thing you want to look for when you are buying a home that you're downsizing. So another thing you want to look for is proximity to amenities. So hospitals, shopping, access to the airport. How close are you to family members? How close are you to friends? The grocery store, to the gas, you have to think of all this stuff. A memory care or a senior community, because maybe your significant other is declining and you'd like to be close to him or her when she's in a senior living community, getting the help that they need. So a lot of the times that is what a client of mine is looking for, is living in a really low maintenance house, but also being closer to their loved ones. So another thing I want to touch on is community and social gatherings and events. You could walk with a friend or a neighbor, so maybe there's a trail or a non-busy road nearby. There's maybe an event center, or there's a clubhouse in the senior 55 plus community that you're living in where you can play cards, you can watch movies, you could have a book club. So having a social life is important, and having those things close by is also super important too. So if you're open to it, and if you're thinking about downsizing, let's grab a coffee and let's chat about it. Let's set up an estate plan. Let's set up a plan for downsizing, okay? I'm even open to looking at homes that you're thinking about moving into in the future. I don't care if you're a year out. I'm happy to help. You don't need to be ready right now to get this process started, because it does take a while. So if you're interested, please reach out. I do free consultations. I set up roadmaps for you, totally free. I provide value and resources so we can get your downsizing journey started when it makes sense, when you're comfortable with it. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Tom Harvey. I'm a local realtor, senior real estate specialist, probate specialist. Please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. It supports my family and my business. Have a beautiful day.